What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this Thursday morning, ladies and gentlemen? I forgot what day it was, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's having a fantastic Thursday morning. Welcome in. Come one, come all. I understand it's the off season, but y'all, this is one of the most exciting off seasons that we've had in a very, very long time. A new regime, a new era for the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm absolutely super excited about it. And we got some updates, right? So if you're not following me on my Twitter or my Instagram, I got you covered here in this live stream, at least for the things to kind of know, right? To kind of keep in the loop and what's going on with the Arizona Cardinals for now. But big shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat. We got AZ Sports Girl. What's up, Raphael Franklin? What's up, Aaron? What's going on, Mikey? Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic morning. Let's get started on this. Actually, first, before we get started, definitely do me a huge favor. Smack the like button on this video. Subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. We're on the road to 11K, so definitely subscribe it up and also smack that like button. So hopefully we have at least 30 something likes by this point into the stream. Let's dive right into it, everybody. Let's talk about the latest updates for the Arizona Cardinals. And boy, we got some news to talk about, right? Now, yesterday, I ended up kind of throwing out a video pertaining to Sean Payton, right? I want to kind of get your guys' gauge about that. We also got another GM in the building today to do an interview. And there's also word about Vance Joseph getting the next interview for the head coach position. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that the fact of the matter is that the Arizona Cardinals want to hire the GM first. That's what's going to go on, right? Whether you like it or not, the Arizona Cardinals are going to hire the GM first. Now, I was able to do a little research here on my end because I was very curious, right? 4 years ago was a very, very long time. I wanted to figure out when was the hire date of Cliff Kingsbury, if it was like in February, anything like that. But doing a little research, I found out that Cliff Kingsbury was hired as the Arizona Cardinals head coach in January the 8th of 2019. So it seems like, right, the Arizona Cardinals kind of pulled the trigger on that one. Right now, we're sitting on the 12th of January of 2023. So it looks like we're going to be doing some due diligence, right? We're going to be doing a little bit more research this time around. Now, granted, yes, we are going through a brand new kind of new regime, new GM, new head coach, that type of thing. So that's why there's a little bit of a delay. But please keep in mind, we most likely will hear the next GM at least very soon, right? Fingers crossed that we're going to be hearing something pertaining to the next GM of the Arizona Cardinals. So let's get updated here on everything Arizona Cardinals, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Now, I did make a video about this, and man, it was probably one of the best videos I posted out because everybody got super excited about it. Now, this was a report from yesterday from Ian Rappaport, and it says this: the Broncos, Arizona Cardinals, and now the Texans all have permission to speak with the Saints. Coach Sean Payton's sources say. Plenty of good options for the Super Bowl winning head coach. Now, please keep in mind here, everybody, that I think everybody would love the idea of bringing in Sean Payton as the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, right? I think you would be maybe find one person out of maybe 50 saying, no, I don't think that's the right option. But for the most part, everybody wants Sean Payton. That's going to be the creme de la creme, the gem, the jewel that everybody wants, right? And hearing that we at least requested, right, to speak to him, that's a huge win. That's a huge win in my eyes. So honestly, thank you, Michael Bidwell. And I don't know how many times I've expressed this throughout the entirety of, this week about, taking the initiative and trying to start this over and realizing that we made a mistake and, trying to extend people that probably shouldn't have been extended. So yeah, this is exciting, right? So at least we have some sort of interest. Now, this is another thing that I want to go ahead and talk about real quick. And I'm staying with the head coaches and then we'll jump into the GMs right after. So yes, this news came out and then we also got this news as well this morning from Jeremy Fowler. And this is what this report says. The Cardinals are expected to interview defensive coordinator Vance Joseph for the head coaching job sometime next week, per sources. Joseph, the former Broncos head coach, has spent 3 years as the Arizona Cardinals defensive coordinator and is well respected in the building. So keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that when I posted this on my Instagram, boy, we got a lot of people saying, no. Got a lot of people basically commenting on my Instagram picture that I ended up putting out. Everybody didn't like this idea, right? Everybody didn't like this idea. And now people are starting to revert back to that wariness that comes along with the possibility of having Vance Joseph as the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, let me say this real quick. Yes, I truly do believe that Vance Joseph is probably one of the most liked, right? Very well respected, right? He definitely most likely is in that building. But here's the truth of the nature. I think one thing that we need to realize as Cardinal fans and hopefully as Michael Bidwell and the organization, that we have a very clear thing that we need to do. And that is to get Kyler Murray corrected, right? Because not only are fans, like I would even say 25 to 30% right now of fans, whenever you put a poll up, there's at least 25 to 30% of fans saying Kyler Murray isn't the guy, get rid of him, trade him, do this, do that, do this, right? And honestly, I don't blame those fans, right? I don't blame them. Now, do I agree with them? No, I don't right now. I want to see one more year. Now, would I be am I going to be proven wrong next year? I don't know, right? And that's kind of the risk that we're willing to take, going into the next year. But if Vance Joseph does get the interview, which he's going to get the interview, and we all knew he was going to get an interview, right? Now, this is supposed to happen sometime next week, right? Now, please keep in mind, along with any head coaches that we're going to interview, right? Whether it's going to be Sean Payton, anybody like that, we have a date of January the 17th that we need to kind of abide to pertaining to the organization, right? Especially from outside, like external hires, you have until the 17th or the 18th of January. So that's Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So that kind of fits a line with when we're going to maybe start hearing a little bit more names coming through, right? More possibilities of Arizona Cardinals, pulling the trigger and seeing if we can schedule more interviews for the head coaching position. Because as of right now, we haven't physically interviewed anybody for the head coach position because we're still waiting to figure out who's going to be the next GM of the Arizona Cardinals. So please keep that in mind. I know a lot of people are kind of already trying to throw themselves off a building, to try to throw themselves off a bridge because of this report that came out. But I can almost assure you that yes, Fiji is going to get a interview, but so is Sean Payton, right? And if he doesn't get an interview, right? If Sean Payton doesn't get an interview, then obviously we can kind of we can kind of get mad at that very moment. But being that we're at least interested and that this report came out yesterday, there's at least some sort of interest between the Arizona Cardinals and Sean Payton, right? So that's a huge W in my mind. Yes, Vance Joseph is going to get an interview, but so is Sean Payton. So I would hope that maybe he would be after or before, whatever the situation might be. But don't panic yet. Don't panic yet. But I can almost assure you we probably will be getting more names coming through for head coaches. So definitely keep in mind about that as well, right? I know Jim Harbaugh was a name that I threw out before the season even ended. I mean, like 2 or 3 weeks before the season ended, I was already talking about the next, coaching candidates for the Arizona Cardinals. Like that's how bad the season was. So, I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see who else the Arizona Cardinals want to kind of pull the trigger on. It's honestly open up in the air right now, and is really going to depend on what GM is going to take the role and what GM is going to be able to, make the move that obviously Michael Bidwell wants to do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it has to kind of float around the idea of trading DeAndre Hopkins. Something along those lines. So let's move on over to the GM talk here real quick. Now that we talked about the head coaches, now we do have some updates pertaining to the GMs that we brought in yesterday. or the day before, we ended up speaking to Jerry Reese. Now, he was the general manager of the New York Giants. He was there for 10 years. I think it was 2007 to 2017. We did interview him. I believe it was either yesterday or the day before. I know I released a video on that same day when he was interviewed. So, I mean, he's a possible, candidate for the Arizona Cardinals to possibly pull the trigger on. So there's that, Jerry Reese. And there's also another person that ended up getting interviewed today, and that is Ian Cunningham. Now, this report did also come out from Ian Rappaport, and it says this: the Cardinals are interviewing Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham today for their vacant GM job, sources said. Cunningham, who worked for the Eagles previously, is a top lieutenant for GM Ryan Poles. So there it is, right? There it is. Right now, I think we have a solid right now we have a solid 4 candidates right now for the GM role. 4 candidates right now for the GM role. That's Jerry Reese, Quentin Harris, Adrian Wilson, and now Ian Cunningham. So these are the next possible GMs for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward into the 2023 season. Now, can we hear more names? Yes. Right? We absolutely can hear more names as the week goes on, as next week comes along. But these are the 4 GMs we have as of right now. Recapping again: Ian Cunningham, Quentin Harris, Adrian Wilson, as well as Jerry Reese. Those are confirmed to be the interviews that already happened, and Ian Cunningham is supposed to happen today. I actually had a buddy saying that he actually saw Ian Cunningham go into the Cardinals building, and he actually did see him. So there's that. So, right. So we'll see, right? Right now, those are the 4 people. Now, one other thing I do want to mention as well. I know there was other names floated around with the idea of other people coming in. Now, this is a report I want to show you guys as well. Now, this is coming from Ian Rappaport. This happened yesterday, and this is what the report says. One of the most coveted GM candidates, 49ers assistant GM Adam Peters, has declined request interviews with the Titans and the Arizona Cardinals. So this was a name that we talked about. I believe it was on Monday or Tuesday when we did a live stream, but Adam Peters is no longer in the running because of the idea of him basically declining the request of the Arizona Cardinals right now. So not sure if he wants to, well, obviously he wants to stay with the 49ers, or maybe the Titans and the Arizona Cardinals really didn't seem like a good fit for him, maybe, but there was a decline when we reached out to somebody for a possible interview. So keep that in mind. That name is no longer going to be anybody that we have to focus on anymore. Adam Peters is out the window, no longer wants to be our GM, or no longer wants to interview for a GM for the Arizona Cardinals. But we got 4 right now. 4 people, right? Ian Cunningham, Jerry Reese, Quinn Harris, and Adrian Wilson. Now, out of those 4 candidates, obviously Adrian Wilson is somebody that I really, really loved watching as a kid, watching Arizona Cardinal football. I would love for him to get the opportunity, but I understand the narrative of cleaning house and doing it the right way. I understand it. I do. Now, Quinn Harris was one of our candidates that did interviewed for a different position. I haven't heard anything about Adrian Wilson getting an interview this year, at least as of right now, for a GM role. So kind of keep that in mind that, hey, Adrian Wilson might still stay in-house, right? If we get a new GM coming through. And it seems like that might be the route the Arizona Cardinals might take, because Michael Bidwell said internally or externally, that's the idea that we're going to kind of go with right now. So those are the 4 candidates as of right now. So however you guys want to shake it, rank it, however you want to go and say it, those are the ones that we have to deal with, at least as of right now. So that's GMs and head coach talk. I can only imagine that we're going to be getting more and more names for head coaches, because I can, maybe if I give an estimation, next week, I think we'll know our GM by next week. I think we'll know our GM by next week. Or maybe even, no, yeah, I think next week seems like a fair assessment. If not later on this week, then next week for sure, because we can technically interview people in January 17th or 18th. So, it's going to be coming here pretty soon. Which I'm really excited about. We have some questions in the chat pertaining to Ian. So I believe he worked with the Eagles previously. Yeah, exactly. Per this report here, right now, he is the Bears' assistant GM. But he did originally come from the Eagles and was a top lieutenant per this report of GM Ryan Poles. So yes, he has had some experience, not the exact GM role, but being that he has right some level of experience, is good, right? It feels good. So I think that would be a pretty cool hire too, right? I think that would be pretty enticing, at least as an Arizona Cardinal fan, to see if we did somehow bring an Ian Cunningham in. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Now, I don't think he actually has had like general manager, like actually being a general manager, like experience at all, but neither did Steve Keim, right? So please keep that in mind that Steve Keim was promoted because he worked his way in the ranks, right? He worked his way up, and that's how he got the position of the GM. Now, Ian Cunningham can be very good, right? We don't really truly know and how that's going to shake out. But I do know one thing, and because of the report that came out with DeAndre Hopkins, one thing that Michael Bidwell is asking everybody is that I'm assuming they're putting them in this position and they're asking them this. If we need to move off of DeAndre Hopkins, how would you do it? I'm assuming, right? I'm assuming. So we ended up seeing Hard Knocks yesterday. I believe it was the final episode of Hard Knocks. I believe it's episode 9. I do think it was a very good episode personally. But we ended up kind of seeing a lot of JJ Watt's emotional, retirement. A lot of, kind of talking back and forth, reminiscing his great career and what he's had done with, the NFL in the 2 years he's been with the Arizona Cardinals. And we've seen a little bit of DeAndre Hopkins, his personal life. And honestly, I think it's kind of one of those things where, yes, Arizona Cardinal fans have called it probably since the middle of the season that this season wasn't going to go anywhere, but we finally got to see Vance Joseph, DeAndre Hopkins just saying how bad this season was, right? How bad the season was. And we also saw, Cliff Kingsbury finally acknowledge that, hey, this was probably one of the first times he actually faced adversity, actually faced very, very hardship in this role, because it's hard to right a ship, especially when a lot of people don't believe in the master plan. So this episode of Hard Knocks, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I wouldn't say a 10 out of 10, but I definitely would rank it like 7 or 8 out of 10. Definitely kept the best episode for last for sure. But man, a lot of openings, right? A lot of things to kind of talk about here for pertaining to the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. Because, yeah, we're going to have a new regime, new leadership, and that's exactly what we need to see, right? That's exactly what we need to see and what we need to be here as Arizona Cardinal fans kind of moving forward. What's going on, everybody? We got some new people chiming in. Appreciate you guys for being here. If you guys can do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and also subscribe if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan. We're on the road to 11K, so definitely subscribe it up and smack the like button if you can. But right now, what we're talking about is possible GMs for the Arizona Cardinals. Who have we interviewed so far? And then possible the next head coaches interviews for the Arizona Cardinals as well. So that's pretty much what we're recapping. Let's recap it right now for the new people that are in here. Head coaches. We can now officially speak with Sean Payton. There has not been an interview set as of yet, but I'm only assuming it's going to happen. We are set to interview Vance Joseph next week. So I know there's a lot of not people happy about that, but there is that news. And then the GMs, we have 4 people that we have interviewed, and there is going to be an interview today. Recapping it, Quinn Harris, Adrian Wilson, Ian Cunningham was today, and then Jerry Reese, I believe, was either yesterday or the day before that we ended up interviewing them. So definitely doing all our homework as much as we possibly can, right? I think that's definitely something that the Arizona Cardinals have, long to do. I obviously, right? I don't think we've seen Michael Bidwell make one of these big decisions since he's been the president and CEO. I feel like he's always kind of had Steve Keim there in his ear. Now that he can actually make the decision on his own, I'm curious, right? I'm curious to figure out if he's going to be able to pick a winner, because a lot of eyes are on Michael Bidwell right now. And I mean, a lot of eyes are on Michael Bidwell to see how this is actually going to transpire moving on into the 2023 season, because y'all, believe it or not, there's a lot riding on this. Cliff Kingsbury is still getting paid, regardless if he got let go or not, right? Regardless if he got fired, Cliff Kingsbury is still getting paid. I think up to year 2 or 3, Steve Wilkes was still getting paid too. So eventually, Michael Bidwell is going to need to kind of, stick with these head coaches, but he's going to be needing to want to make these decisions, right? But I'm glad that he made this decision. Truly, I am. I'm glad that he made this decision because I think in the grand scheme of things, it's a tough decisions you need to make. It is. It is. And I think that's the reason why not everybody is fitted for a role like a leadership role, right? Nobody's fitted, or not everybody's fitted for that type of role because, man, you have to have some tough conversations. You need to have some tough heart to heart, one-to-one conversations that aren't fun, that aren't pretty to have, but they need to be had, right? Imagine having Cliff Kingsbury for a fifth year. I don't think anybody's going to be wanting to see Cliff Kingsbury fifth year. I don't think anybody's willing to see that at all. Now, Vance Joseph, he's gonna kind of got he kind of has the short end of the stick. Let's be honest here, right? We know how bad our offense looked. We know how bad our defense looked, but I feel like throughout the season, the offense got a lot more of the flack than the defense did. And it's the truth, right? It's the truth. And I think one of the biggest reasons why is because the defense didn't really have those expensive, big star studded players compared to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you take a look at the contracts and the caps, it was favored a lot more for our Arizona Cardinals to be an offense, fire powered type of offense, right? Like, points galore. And it didn't work out that way. It didn't work out that way. And what happened? Our defense suffered, right? We had some flashes. We looked pretty good, especially in the first half. On some games, we looked really, really good in the first half. And the second half, we just kind of seemed to fall apart and nothing kind of went well for the Arizona Cardinals. So now Vance Joseph, to me, I personally don't want him as the head coach. I know there has been some Denver Bronco fans that have kind of chimed into and in the Twitter world or the Instagram world, and they told me like, hey, Vance Joseph kind of was not given everything he could to succeed in Denver. So I mean, I could see where they come from in that point of it all, but like in the grand scheme of things, y'all, like we need to make sure that this next head coach fits, right? We need to make sure that this next head coach is going to be the guy that's gets Kyler Murray right, or if that's not the future, if Kyler Murray isn't the future, then what's the plan for post Kyler Murray, right? That's what this is going to need to be. Like truly. That's what this is going to need to be. So, I mean, I think this all comes down to what is the vision, right? What is the vision of this Arizona Cardinals heading into the 2023 season? I've told you my vision before, right? I've told you what I would love Michael Bidwell to do. Obviously, homework is number one key thing that I want him to do because honestly, that's the most important thing. I don't want you to jump into something and not do your research. So, being that he did the tough job in letting go of a coach where, let's be honest here, right? When you're looking at Cliff Kingsbury, especially when you're watching those Hard Knocks episodes, you kind of relate to him in a personal level and you actually start to feel bad about Cliff Kingsbury. You truly do, right? He seems like a very, very well-rounded, good person, like an overall good person. And honestly, when you ask yourself, if I was a player, you probably would say I would fight hard for this man, right? Being that he's a player's coach. But honestly, it's something that needed to happen. It's an ugly part of the business, but it's one of those parts of the business where it's like, what have you done for me lately, right? And this year just kind of went sideways, and we couldn't get we couldn't get it corrected. Like we couldn't get the job or the ship corrected. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why Cliff Kingsbury got fired. Because I think if he won 6 to 7 games, truly, I think if he won 6 to 7 games, they would chalk this season up to injuries. Literally. Yeah, truly. If we won 6 to 7 games, they probably would have chalked this season up to injuries. They would say, oh, hey, injuries were a bug, right? We couldn't get over the hump. Cliff Kingsbury are coming back. But being that we had 4 losses and we're on a 6-game losing streak and this team doesn't look like it's like, and it was going nowhere fast, things needed to be changed, right? Michael Bidwell said he had some conversations. Michael Bidwell said he had conversations with leaders, with other people within, the organization. And in his opinion, this was the right decision that needed to be done. So no hate to Vance Joseph, at least in my mind, right? I don't hate anybody. But I don't think the right man for the job would be Vance Joseph, because I truly do want to see a new regime, right? I truly do want to see a new situation coming through. Like I think that's kind of what I'm ready to see. And I think that's what a lot of fans want to see, right? I think a lot of fans are ready to see something new. Let's start into 2023 right, and I think that's what we want. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, AZ Sports Crew. Yeah, as a person, look, Cliff as a person, but as a head coach, this wasn't it exactly. And those are the tough decisions that you need to make, 100%. And I know it's not the prettiest. I know it's not the cupcake pillow fight unicorn type of thing. Rainbow sunshine is not right, but that's what this league is. It's brutal. It's brutal. You could have an 11-win season and just sign a 5-year extension, and you're not safe. Like you're not safe, and this just proved it. This just proved it. And I've been talking about, Cliff Kingsbury not being the man. And I'm not going to sit here and try to say, oh, I was right. But it needed to be done. It needed to be done. Let's see who can fix Kyler. That's number one point in blank in my mind. Who's going to be able to fix Kyler Murray? Now, DeAndre Hopkins obviously has been one of the big talking points, right? DeAndre Hopkins has been one of the big storylines in this offseason so far. In Hard Knocks, he kind of, I don't know, like I don't think so much that DeAndre Hopkins made any, like, to me, I don't think there was anything being like, oh my God, he's done, right? He's gone. Like he's gone. No, to me, no. Like they played it off very, very well that he had like a knee, like an aching knee injury. And that's the reason why he was held up for the last 2 games. But like, to me as a fan, to me watching the NFL and how it works, it seems like it's storybook, right? Not storybook ending, because obviously it's not storybook ending for us. But to me, it feels like this is the end of DeAndre Hopkins. Like that's what it feels like. Now Cliff Kingsbury, right? There's reports out there saying that Cliff Kingsbury is not going back to college, but maybe going to find something within the NFL. 2 or 3 weeks ago, after I watched a Hard Knocks episode, I saw the communication between him and Bill Belichick, and I said, "Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cliff Kingsbury and Bill Belichick, because just the way that they were talking amongst each other, right? The hey, I'll call you." Bill Belichick doesn't say, "Hey, I'll call you." Like what? Like what is that? Like Bill Belichick doesn't say stuff like that. But I do think that he does have a care for him, right? I do believe that Cliff Kingsbury is a very, very good, maybe an offensive mind. I don't know about a play caller, right? But as of right now, that's kind of the stigma that he has over him. Unfortunately, we don't know, but maybe he is a good offensive mind, right? And maybe that's what Bill Belichick sees, because we did see a defensive coordinator in Matt Patricia being their offensive coordinator. So I think it's time for them to kind of actually see and try to find somebody. And who else out there, right, to trust other than your former quarterback that played for you in Cliff Kingsbury being the offensive coordinator for Bill Belichick. So I'm not going to say I called it, but I did mention it after a Hard Knocks episode that I believe it was like 3 weeks ago now. 3 or 4 weeks ago now. It's definitely something that I mentioned before, and now everybody's starting to woo, right? The wheels are starting to turn now, because people are like, oh, maybe that makes sense. It does make sense. It does. It absolutely does. I've never seen Bill Belichick ever say, oh, I'll call you to anybody. And yes, they do have rapport with each other. So he needs an offensive coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury got fired. It seems like something made in heaven, right? At least for Cliff. So he'll bounce back. I have no doubt in my mind that he'll bounce back. Now, DeAndre Hopkins, let's keep staying within that trend right now. We kind of talked about, right, what possible spots for DeAndre Hopkins, like where would he end up going? Right now, there was like I wouldn't say a report, but rumors, right? Right now, rumors, and let me say rumors, they listed 5 different teams that the Arizona Cardinals can possibly send DeAndre Hopkins to. Chicago Bears, the New England Patriots, the Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, and the Baltimore Ravens. Those are the 5 teams that they mentioned that can possibly be a trade candidate for the Arizona Cardinals. Let me recap that again here. Chicago Bears, New England Patriots, Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, and the Baltimore Ravens. That's kind of the names that are thrown out there, at least as of right now. Possible suitors for a trade of DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I'm curious right? Obviously, we know where Chicago Bears stand. They're right now they're sitting in the first overall spot, which I don't think they're going to trade that first overall spot. I truly don't. Now, maybe a second round because that's pretty much a first rounder, a late first rounder if they do send that over to us. Let's take a look at everybody else's here. The Browns have the 12th overall. Oh no, I'm sorry. The Browns don't even have a first round pick. So maybe the Browns aren't even a team that I'm willing to humor right now, right? If I was the GM. The Patriots seems very, very enticing. Right now, the Patriots are sitting the 14th overall spot. That's a possibility, right? Because I want a first round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, truly. I want a first round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, truly. Now, the New York Giants right now is going to change, right? Because they're in the playoffs. But right now, the Giants have a 23rd overall pick right now, the 23rd overall pick. But that can change, right? Just depending on how the wild card weekend happens. Right now, they're the 23rd overall pick. And then the last team is the Baltimore Ravens, which makes sense, right? Which makes sense. But if they bring back Lamar, it makes more sense. If they don't bring back Lamar, then I don't know if D-Hop would want to go over there. But the Baltimore Ravens are sitting with the 24th overall spot right now. And keep that in mind, they're in the playoffs too. So that can very well change as well. So there's a lot of up in the air right now, right? A lot of up in the air right now for the Arizona Cardinals. Is DeAndre Hopkins going to get traded? Who's going to be our next GM? That type of stuff. So tomorrow's Friday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. So I'm hoping that we maybe get some more kind of intel because I still want to see some more like head coaches, right? I want to see some more head coaches get the opportunity to interview because right now, the only names that have kind of been thrown out there from the Arizona Cardinals, or at least reports from the Arizona Cardinals, is Vance Joseph and Sean Payton. And Sean Payton hasn't scheduled an interview, but we can now technically talk to him. So those are the really only two that I've seen for the head coaches. But for GMs, we're starting to count them in one hand right now, right? And possibly we might start counting them in two hands. So, I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see what happens. AZ Sports Up, brother. Appreciate it, man. Every time, man. Every time. I always depend on you for a super chat, man. Thank you so very much, brother. He says this. Who do you see us trading DeAndre Hopkins to and for what? Well, at one point, I was going to say the Chicago Bears. I was at one point. So maybe we still can say it. Like, I don't think no way in hell they're going to leave that first overall pick, right? Like, I don't think they're going to let that go. Now, if they do decide to give us a second round pick, that one is as good as a first round pick. But in terms of like more picks, I want more picks from, right? Maybe the second, which is a very, very high second. And because Miami forfeited their their pick, they're still picking within the top 32 if we get that for that second round pick from them. So let's see what picks they have. Right now they have the okay, so never mind. Okay, let me rephrase back. Right now the Chicago Bears has the first, the 56th, the 65, and the 103rd, the 103. So to be honest with you, I thought that they had the first round pick in the second. So because they don't, let's try to kind of move off of them. You know what team? Honestly, the Patriots. To be honest with you, if I'm going to look at this list right here, I would say the Patriots. Truly. I would say the Patriots. Biggest reason why Cliff Kingsbury is going too, right? I don't think there's any ill between DeAndre Hopkins and Cliff. I know somebody mentioned the fact that maybe DeAndre Hopkins doesn't like Kyler. I don't know, right? We don't know, right? But I would say the Patriots or the Giants. Out of those five, Patriots or the Giants is what I'm thinking because the Giants need a top tier wide receiver. We've seen Daniel Jones take the next step, right? And I can see them go there. At one point, I would say the Chicago Bears, they're not giving up the first overall pick. If they do, then hell, that'd be dope. But I don't think they would. And they don't have the second, or they don't have the first overall in the second round. Like, it seems like it was traded. So if I were to say two teams out of that list, I would say the Patriots and the Giants. I think he would do good in New York, honestly. I think he would do really, really good in New York. Now, would he want to play with Daniel Jones? I don't know, right? That's a topic for a different day. But I do also know that he is going to be highly coveted, right? I do know he's going to be highly coveted for sure because this free agency market that we have coming into this year, we talked about this yesterday as well. This free agency market for wide receivers is booty. It's bad. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. this free agency for free agents is bad. So what does that say for the Arizona Cardinals, right? What does that say for us? For the Arizona Cardinals, we can't be rolling the dice on 3 wide receivers or maybe 2 wide receivers now because we don't know if Greg Dortch is coming back or not. Rondale Moore is getting hurt all the time. Marquise Hollywood-Brown didn't have a healthy season, and both of them are under 6 feet, right? So if DeAndre Hopkins does end up going, oof. If DeAndre Hopkins does end up going, I want to make sure that one of those picks are going to be a wide receiver. And that's why I want to make sure that it's going to be either in the first round or we could possibly get it in the, high second round. Because right now, I'm seeing a mock draft right now. It's saying in the 3rd overall, we're getting Jalen Carter. The 35th, we're going Nolan Smith, edge out of Georgia. And then 67th, they're saying Devin, is it Akani? I don't know. He's a running back from Texas A&M, and then cornerback out of LSU on the 97th overall pick, which honestly, that running back can very well be substituted for a wide receiver if we don't trade DeAndre Hopkins. Well, I'm sorry. If we don't trade him, then I guess we don't need a wide receiver technically. We can get one in the late rounds if need be, but that's it. AZ Sports Girl, what's going on? Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so very much for getting involved. I saw something on YouTube saying that DeAndre Hopkins maybe wants to leave because he's tired of Kyler. This was brought up yesterday. And I kid you not, if you guys weren't on yesterday's stream, man, it was getting a little hectic. We have a lot of people are not happy with Kyler Murray. A lot of people not happy with Kyler Murray. And my job isn't here to try to convince you, right? I'm just a fan as much as you guys are a fan as well. But yeah, I've heard the narrative as well. I've heard it, right? And honestly, it's not a good look for Kyler Murray to yell at a elite wide receiver, tell him to calm the F down. That's something you don't say to an elite wide receiver. You don't, no matter how frustrated you are. I hope Kyler Murray takes the next step this next year, because if it doesn't, blood is going to be in the water, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be blood in the water. Let me just say that right now. Blood in the water next year for Kyler Murray. And right now we're at least 30%, 25 to 30% every single time we talk about Kyler Murray. 25 to 30% of the fan base wants him out. So, I mean, eventually, right, if the fan base keeps, yelling, they're going to get what they want. It's just the truth of the nature. I'm not sure if the report is true. I'm not sure if, the YouTube people are true. I don't know, right? I don't really 100% know. I don't want to believe it, but we'll see. We'll see. What's up, AZ fan again? Which wideout would you want to get in the draft? Oh, that's a good question, bro. That's a very, very good question. Honestly, depends, right? I think it really depends on the wow, I'm sorry, blank my mind. It depends on like where we land, right? Where we get this pick. Honestly, Quentin Johnston would be the best wide receiver in my mind in this draft. The best wide receiver in my mind. Now, there's other people out there that you could possibly go out there and get, right? But Quentin Johnston out of TCU, 6'4", 215 pounds. This man had over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. And honestly, I get TCU didn't do a damn diddly in the championship game, but honestly, that's a wide receiver I would love to have. Now, there's also other wide receivers that are, coveted very well. Keyshawn Boutte, or Boutte, however you want to call his name, wide receiver out of LSU. I'm intrigued with him. I'm intrigued with Keyshawn Boutte, or he's from LSU. 6 feet, 190 pounds, 538 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, yes, I know it doesn't scream like, oh my God, he's magnificent, but there's something about him that kind of makes me very, very excited. Now, those are 2 people. But I want to do a little bit more research. Like, I came into this offseason not thinking we needed a wide receiver, right? So I haven't done so much research right now, but give me a little bit. If DeAndre Hopkins truly goes, then damn. then damn. You know what I mean? We'll have to kind of go off of what's going on from there. No F's given. What's up, brother? Appreciate the super chat, man. He says, I say supply and demand. Get high picks for DeAndre Hopkins, and if we can't get them, we keep them, because if no one's willing to give us a top pick, then no one will. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. As a Cardinal fan, to me, I don't know anybody in this chat that would say DeAndre Hopkins is still not elite. DeAndre Hopkins is as elite as they come. He's missed 8 games this year, 8 games, and still put up 700 yards And that's with not Kyler Murray being his quarterback the entirety of the time, too. So kind of keep that in mind. DeAndre Hopkins is bad. He's great. He's good. You know what I mean? He's still elite. Still elite type of wide receiver. So I agree. Now, this might be one of those situations where I know a lot of people were saying, well, we might have the leverage. I don't know if we want to live in a world where we're going to have DeAndre Hopkins sit, right? As a fan base, as an organization, I'm not sure if Michael Bidwell is going to be wanting to kind of go in that realm. Because if he doesn't go to a place that he wants to go to, his options are either sit out or play, right? Those are the options. If these are the decisions that we said, hey, these are the possible possibilities, and he doesn't want to go on them, sitting out, I don't want to live in that world. I truly don't. But I mean, we'll see, right? DeAndre Hopkins is still great. Still great wide receiver. What's up, RB Davey? Appreciate the super chat. He says, I want Kyler out. He's trouble. Woo! Here it is. I think RB Davey was the one that tried to decapitate me / cancel me on my last stream. Well, what's the plan? Well, let me ask you, RV Davey, what's the plan, right? Like, for the people that don't like Kyler Murray, what's the plan? Do you want a quarterback this year? And if so, who? Do you want a free agent this year and maybe get a quarterback next year? Like, what's the plan, right? I get like the frustration that comes out of a lot of Cardinal fans, right? That they don't feel like he's the guy. Let me know the plan. Let me know the plan. Oh yeah, you are right. Yes, exactly. It wasn't RV Davey. It was this guy. It was my guy over here. That's who it was. You're right. It was my guy over here. K1's actions figured out includes crutches, #fire K1. You're right. It was you. My bad. Well, yeah, I guess the questions for both you guys. Well, I mean, what's the plan, right? What do you think is going to be what the Arizona Cardinals should do if K1 is not the answer, right? Because right now we don't have them until sometime in October. So any plan that you have right now might seem like a good option. So, like, do you want to go free agent? If so, who's that free agent you want to come and pick up? Because any head coach that's going to be coming out there, their number one thing should be, who's going to be my quarterback when Kyler Murray is not here, right? Like, that's the number one thing that they should think. I'm going to take this position as the Arizona Cardinals. Who's going to be my quarterback while Kyler Murray isn't here? So my question to you, as well as RV Davey, is what's the plan, right? Are we drafting somebody early? Are we drafting somebody late? Are we getting somebody in free agency? Let me know the plan. And if so, let me know who that person is going to be, if you don't mind, just so we can have a little bit more to talk about. Because, yeah, I mean, it can possibly be anybody, right? Because if you truly think about it, right? Because Kyler Murray, yeah, I understand he's got his flaws, right? You know, grumpy cat's what we called him at one point. But we're better with Kyler than we are without Kyler, right? But we definitely need an overhaul of these wide receivers. Not overhaul, but we need to add a big body wide receiver. Now, somebody asked me before, like, Antoine Wesley, what about, he's a big body wide receiver. Y'all, I'm not going to be rolling with Antoine Wesley. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be rolling with Antoine Wesley. I'm not. He's good for what he is, but he's a backup, right? And no disrespect to him. He might be a great person. He does a great little thing with the little tiny mic. It's just, I'm not going to be rolling the 2023 season with an Antoine Wesley. I'm just not, right? That's not what I would be happy about going into this year. Now, because I still want to win, right? Like, I'm not saying I want to win the Super Bowl, but I still want to win games next year. So I don't see a world where the Arizona Cardinals go in with 3 wide receivers under 6 feet, because if so, man, we're just doomed to fail. Then the GM, you failed us. You know what I mean? So we'll see. What's up, brother? He says, I heard Lamar Jackson is available. So I know Baltimore and Lamar is going back and forth, right? I think in the grand scheme of things, I think they're going to keep Lamar. I might be wrong, right? But I think it's for the best interest that the Baltimore Ravens just suck it up and bring him back in. Honestly, I don't think Lamar is going anywhere. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. But I'm assuming you're saying trade Kyler with Lamar. But if you think about it this way, if the Baltimore Ravens don't want to pay Lamar Jackson, why would they accept a contract from Kyler Murray? You know what I mean? So, like, the big issue that we're dealing with Lamar Jackson is that the Baltimore Ravens don't want to pay him. Like, they don't want to give him that big time money. So why would the Baltimore Ravens do that with Kyler? Like, why would they trade a player? Although Kyler Murray to me is a better thrower, But obviously, with all these big narratives out there right now, right? Uncoachable, grumpy cat, all these things that are happening now. People are saying DeAndre Hopkins is leaving because of him, right? I don't see that happening personally. But yeah, I think Kyler Murray's still good, right? I mean, call me a homer, call me what you will. I think Kyler Murray's still good. I still want to see him with a competent head coach. I'm sorry, not I keep saying competent, but I want to see him with the head coach that has proven something in the NFL. Let's do it that way. No more beating the Cliff anymore. Cliff is gone. No more beating him. No more beating him like a pinata. It's done. Cliff is gone. So if I ever say that again, remind me in the chat, y'all. I want to see Kyler Murray with a head coach that's proven something in the NFL. I think I think it's appropriate. I think it's something that we need to do for our franchise quarterback. Whether you believe he's a franchise quarterback or not, he's paid like one. So he either needs to step up to the plate and do very well, or, he might find himself in that scenario that we talked about, right? Blood in the water, because that 25 to 30% that we're talking about every single time that we do a poll question, is Kyler Murray the guy? We have 25 to 30%. Always people are saying, no, he's not the guy. 25 to 30%. Next year, if he doesn't perform, that 25 to 30% is going to be 50%, if not 40, 45. So it's going to keep going up. People are going to stop, believing in Kyler Murray. And this is definitely something that he needs to kind of come up and show out, right? Now, I want to show you guys one other thing here real quick. I think it was posted by Bally Sports. One second. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Now, this was very intriguing to me. They were talking about Kyler Murray and that there was somebody, like a veteran, that was talking about Kyler Murray in the situation. Dang, I can't find it now, of course. Where was that? Let me check. 1 second, y'all. Okay. I'll keep looking while we keep continuing to talk, but I could have sworn I saw something about it. But basically, essentially what it was is that people were like, there was veterans that were talking from Kyler, right? Or about Kyler, right? Okay, here we go. I think I found it. 1 second. Here we go. All right, let me screenshot this. I believe this is going to be an article, so please keep that in mind as well. Now, there is also going to be a screenshot that we're going to be posting as well that comes along with it. We're not going to be reading no articles. I mean, we're not about that life right now in this chat. I just wanted to kind of show you what we're kind of seeing, and obviously the narrative is going to continue to talk about this whole situation that it is. So what's up, No F's Given with the super chat? Appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much. Let me upload these two screenshots real quick and I'll read your super chat right now. All right, let's take a look here. Belly, where are you? Okay. All right. No F's Given. What's up, brother? He says, look, guys, we paid Kyler Murray. We need him at least 2 years before we can move off of him. The way we ate most of his cap and we can move around. Yeah, exactly. 100%. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. I get it, right? I understand people don't want to hear it, but it's the truth, right? We paid him. At this point, there's nobody that's going to be wanting to jump over the hills, especially with all these reports that we're seeing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and believe it, right? But I want to kind of show you guys, especially and I guess I'm not trying to add fuel to the fire for the Kyler haters, but this was from Bally Sports, and this is what the tweet said here. It was like they created a monster. That's what a veteran Cardinals player said about teammate Kyler Murray on Sunday to Mike Silver, whose details the matter. Now, this is the screenshot here specifically about that article, and this is what it basically said. So after quarterback Kyler Murray fought for and received a massive 5-year, $230.5 million contract extension for his own last July, it was like they created a monster, according to one of the Cardinal veterans I spoke to last Sunday. Once paid, the veteran said Murray felt less compulsion to study his game plan or to fulfill the expectations of a franchise quarterback position that he had in the past, and the Cardinals' collapse felt predictable. So this is what I wanted to kind of show you guys, right? Like, this is something that you don't want, right? Like, now who that veteran is that came out, I don't know, right? I don't know, right? And I hate the idea of now we're talking about this because this is something that we shouldn't be focusing on. This is something we shouldn't be focusing on. So, yes, I hate it, right? Yes, I hate the idea of this coming out, but we mentioned yesterday that literally the Arizona Cardinals treated like Kyler Murray as a god, right? As a guy that was going to change the course of this franchise. And the Arizona Cardinals did do this to themselves. They truly did. Um, so that was what I kind of want to say. And we'll get back to it here right now after these couple super chats right now. What's up, Ryan? Appreciate the super chat, brother. He says, should the Lions trade for DeAndre Hopkins? That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Well, right now right now the Lions have, well, that's the thing. The Lions don't have any first round picks. Like the Arizona Cardinals want a first round pick, right? I mean, at least that's kind of what the consensus from Arizona Cardinal fans are right now. Like we want a first round pick. Because right now, or they do have a first round pick. I'm sorry, they have the 18th. I apologize. They have the 18th. Let me just confirm here real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's on me. My bad. Yes, they do. They do have a first round pick. Technically, it's the 18th overall. So yeah, I mean maybe. Now that I know they have the 18th overall pick, right? Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. I think that would be pretty awesome to have the 18th overall pick. So right now they have the 18th, they have the 49th, they have the 82, the 82nd, and then the 153rd, and then the 194th. So hey, honestly, if they want him and DeAndre Hopkins wants out, shoot, that 18th overall pick looks nice. Let me just say that. It looks nice. Looks nice. No, the Rams pick is the 6th overall. Good call out. Good call out. Yeah, the 6th overall pick belongs. Wait, am I wrong again? Oh my goodness gracious. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me do this again. Yeah, I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Yes, they have the 6th and the 8th. This is what happens when I don't know anything about the Lions, and I'm just kind of going on a whim and what I'm seeing like really quickly. You're right. I'm sorry. The Lions do have the 6th overall. They have the 18th, the 49th, the 60th, and the 82nd. What confused me was they have little banners down there, but that's how they got those picks. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So, yes, long-winded answer, my guy. Yes, that would be cool. I don't see the Lions as a possible suitor personally. There was some reports or I guess some rumors that came out with the possibility of teams that could possibly get them. And honestly, I think the most reasonable sounds the Patriots. Baltimore Ravens was thrown out there as well. And then and then the New York Giants. Those ones to me seem to be kind of the most possible. So should they trade for the DeAndre Hopkins? I would say yes, because I would love a first round pick, but I mean, I don't know if they would. What's up, Carmelo? Thank you so very much for the super chat. He says, pick up Mayfield and make K1 work to play. I mean, so you're saying get Baker Mayfield. Okay, so get Baker Mayfield in free agency. But here's the thing. Like, yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield might have a chance to start, right? But I think the narrative out there is that Baker Mayfield is going to be the backup to Kyler Murray when Kyler Murray gets healthy. I wouldn't mind bringing Baker Mayfield in, truly. I think that would be pretty cool. I do agree with the idea of putting that narrative out there to Kyler Murray, right? Like, hey, you got to work for this, right? Like, just because you're the starter doesn't mean you're going to get the start. Although we know damn well that because he is our starter, he's going to be our starter. But the idea of bringing Baker Mayfield and, Kyler Murray together and that they have that rapport with each other, I think that'd be kind of cool, right? I think that'd be kind of cool. But like, how many wins can Baker Mayfield get us? Like that's the thing, right? We need at least be 500 when Kyler Murray comes back. We need at least be a 500 team. At least be a 500 team. Can he get us those wins? I mean, possibly. Because right now he's set to come back sometime in October. And we know damn well there's going to be 3 games in September, at least 3 games. And we don't know if it's going to be 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, or 7 games that Kyler Murray is going to be gone, right? So that's the latest report. So, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind Baker Mayfield. I truly wouldn't. I think this is definitely something that's can be it, right? What's up, D? Is it D Hugs all? Is it D Hug all day? What's up, man? Appreciate the super chat. He says Quentin Harris for GM. Well, Quentin Harris and Adrian Wilson both got interviews. Right now, they both got interviews. So right now we're kind of waiting and playing the waiting game right now to see if either person's going to be, you know, the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So we had a lot of new people coming in here. Appreciate everybody for being here. By the way, if you guys haven't already smacked the like button, please do so right now. Smack that like button right now. Smack it up. But yes, let's do a quick recap. We're almost at the hour mark right now. And these hours go by so quick, and I appreciate everybody for rocking with me, by the way. Right now, head coach candidates right now. Vance Joseph is going to interview next week, and we can now technically talk to Sean Payton. I'm only going to, assume we're going to hear something about Sean Payton coming for an interview sometime next week, because I believe it's January 17th or January 18th when we can technically do those interviews. So next week, we're going to be interviewing those head coaches. But the GM role, right now, we have 4 interviews that already transpired. 4 interviews right now that transpired. One of the interviews is Quentin Harris. Like my guy over here, D-Hug all day. He wants Quentin Harris, so that's cool. So he has already interviewed. Adrian Wilson has already interviewed. Jerry Reese has already interviewed. He was the GM of the New York Giants that has won 2 Super Bowls under his helm, under his, I don't know, I could say supervision, but when he was the GM, they won 2 Super Bowls there. He also drafted people like JPP and, Odell Beckham Jr. So if that kind of entices you, that's what he did. And then there was a interview today from Ian Cunningham. So there's that. Right. I mean, honestly, the possibilities, right? Possibilities. And I think that's kind of what we want to live in, right? We want to live in the world where, we got this new era coming and everybody's excited. Well, at least most Cardinal fans that I know, I'm excited. I'm excited about this new venture that the Arizona Cardinals are going to take here. What's up? No F's given. He says, what do you think about Marvin Harris? Let's see here. I haven't heard anything about. You're talking about for a GM, right? You're talking about for a GM role, not head coach, right? GM. Or I guess let me wait for you to clarify. Marvin Harris as a GM or a coach. Marvin Harrison. I'm sorry, Marvin Harrison. So I guess I'll. Wide receiver. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought, my bad. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, dude. Okay. Like I said, I haven't done my full research on a lot of. I haven't done my full research, if I'm going to be completely honest. But let me do some research, and I think I'll kind of come back. What does he play for? Is it Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Is that who we're talking about? I guess I can do a little research right now. 6'4". Oh, you sold it. That's it. That's all I need right there. 6'4". Let's go. Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State. Okay, so let's take a look at the stats. Oh, sign me up. Oh, sign me up. Sign me up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr., 6'4", 205 pounds, 77 receptions, over 1,200 yards in the 2022 season, 14 touchdowns. Woo, buddy. Plays for Ohio State. Honestly, this sounds pretty good to me. You know what I mean? Let me do a little bit more research. Like when I do my mock drafts, I wanted to kind of wait to like figure out where we're going to stand at. And obviously we know now that we're the 3rd overall spot in the NFL draft. But like when I'm doing my mock drafts, I guess I could technically do 2, right? One if Hop goes and the other one if Hop doesn't go, right? I guess we can play it that way. But honestly, man, dude, if Hop goes, let's go. Let's bring it. Let's bring it, man. We need to bring some more talent, some young talent, some cheap talent to see what we can do to play with Kyler Murray, because that's number one thing right now. That's number one foremost here as a Arizona Cardinal fan that we should all be thinking of right now. Is he a sophomore? Okay, so if that's you are right. He is a sophomore. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not fully 100% sure. So this might not be anybody until like next year, right? Think about it. Hollywood, Harrison, and Dortch. Is he going to let me do a little research on this young man. He is a sophomore, but is he coming to the draft? Let's see here. Georgia, Nick Saban. Let me. He might not. He might not be in the draft this year, right? I mean, that would be nice. That would be nice, but definitely next year. But honestly, like if we can like somehow get like a top pick and get a wide receiver and then our defensive line of the future, sheesh. Absolute sheesh. But looking at him, man, he looks pretty good right now. But yes, you are right. He is a sophomore, so he might not even come out until maybe next year. I'm not seeing anything about him coming into the NFL or anything like that. So, um, yeah, committed to Ohio State Buckeyes in 2019. New journey. Yeah, not yeah. He looks good though. No, he looks good, man. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, I would like this because Hollywood's coming back, right? I think Hollywood's coming back for sure. Hollywood's coming back for sure. All right, y'all, we have hit it to the hour mark. Damn, this hours go by so quick. It's absolutely bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. Thank you so very much for everyone. I think we capped out like 140 people right now on a Thursday morning, ladies and gentlemen, a Thursday morning. Thank you, everybody, for everybody tuning in. I understand everybody's very excited, right? This is the new era of the Arizona Cardinals. We all kind of want to put our hand in the cookie jar to see what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do moving forward. And to be honest with you, this is exactly what we needed, right? We needed a Band-Aid fit. We needed to rip it off like a Band-Aid and figure out what the next move is for the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you, everybody that has joined, all the channel members that are here, right? Like Not Mario, Jean Paul, everybody, right? All the super chatters that are in here right now. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you guys can do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe, right? We're on the road to 11K and I can't do it without you guys. So definitely subscribe it up, smack the like button on this video. It helps me out, helps the channel grow out as well. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cards.